Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another CSM20 interview. Today, I have another candidate who has never run for CSM before. This will be their very first time. But before we get into the interview and we have them introduce themselves, we're going to talk a little bit about the interview and why I'm doing it. So, the purpose of this interview is firstly so you, the viewer, can go ahead and make an informed decision on which candidates you want to vote for CSM20. But I'm doing this, more importantly, because I have two communities. I am the CEO of Warm Life as well as the founder and CEO of Eve Rookies. If you didn't know, I do not make my ballots. I actually put this on my management on the Warm Life side and the community team on the Eve Rookie side. So they're going to go, they're going to watch these videos, they're going to listen to the questions, and they are going to make the decision and come out with our ballot. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Val.
Thanks for having me on, Kashal. So I'm Val Aurois. I'm a null seeker who lives in it. And yeah, this year I'm running for CSM. I've been playing the game for almost 2 decades
Oh,
already,
wow.
on and off. Yeah. And I spent most of my first few years in null in Brave, where I spent a lot of time with new bros, and then now in Init, where we focus more on teaching new bros how to PvP, if that makes sense. And yeah, happy to be here and fire away.
Excellent. So, what made you decide that this is the year you are going to run for CSM?
Okay, because as my corp mates and alliance mates will test, I complain all the time about, oh, why is this thing like this? Why is it that? And then I speak to a lot of new bros, back when I was in Brave and even now, in Init, and I hear their complaints, and most of their complaints are easily fixable with slight tweaks. It doesn't require a new expansion. It doesn't require new features. A lot of their concerns are quite basic. They enjoy the game already as it is. But yeah, just a little bit of help, I think, for the new bros and now would be good. So yeah,
Excellent.
here I am.
Well, welcome to the madness. So, undoubtedly, you have put together a platform. What are three of your points? Your main points?
Okay. So I want to help new bros is definitely one of the points, but I want to make the game faster. And this ties into new players who are of a younger age. Most of the new players I speak to in their 20s, they find the game, they play a lot of other games. I mean, I think EVE players in general play other games. So they always feel it's very slow. All right. So making the game faster, generating more activity is something that I'm focused on.
Okay.
And giving a little bit of help to new bros wherever they are. I mean, if these issues impact new bros and now, I'm pretty sure they impact new bros in high sec and in low sec and in wormholes as well. So giving a little bit of help to new bros, and basically helping out with because in now we have this situation where there's a lot of dead space, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
empty space, and this is just by the nature of the game, right? People talk about M+1, they talk about projection, and I think I have some insights to slight tweaks that might make this better because the guys I fly with all play the game. They don't really do, a lot of administrative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Every day they are undocked, flying. So we get a sense on the ground what works and what doesn't. And yeah, these are the 3 points that I want to focus on.
Okay, excellent. So, as you know, that I am new player oriented as well, and my platform is undocking. So, of course, I want new players to undock because if they don't undock, we're never gonna get them out in space and there's no content. And of course, I want veterans to undock because, we need people to shoot. So, my first question
Yes.
for you is what do you think right now in 2025 the biggest barrier is for new players undocking?
I think it's lack of direction. If somebody opens the game, right, and there's no general direction that the alliance or the corp gives or their friends give to undock, then they're up to their own devices, right? And they have to find their own interests. Sort of, okay, today I want to mine, today I want to rant, today I want to do this. But Eve is so much more fun when you actually play with a group. So when you do it alone, yes, you can do it for a while, but it will demotivate you to come back the next day because you can, it's not as fun. Or if you're running level 4 missions for the 100th time, it chips at you,
Yep.
right? Um, so having a community or a group give you a direction like, okay, we're going to attack this guy, or today we're going to focus on this, or today, hey, the Crimson Harvest is up. Again, the ships, it's very fun. The drugs are great for PvP. Like having that really helps new players, I feel, undock.
So, what role do you think fleets play in player retention? And this is just general players, not necessarily new players or veteran players.
Oh, I mean, playing Eve alone is very boring. Oh, well, it gets boring after a while, right? I'm talking in general. So playing with friends makes the game so much more fun. Playing in fleets, again, ties back to having a direction, right? Like having a goal or a purpose. So yeah, I think they play a pretty big role in player retention, and getting people into fleets, getting people into communities as quick as you can, is actually one of the like for we've mentioned before. I think I mentioned this to CCP a few years back. Getting new pros into PvP, not solo PvP because they'll just die, right? But into a fleet where they participate in the kill, it's like it's a very I can't imagine. Oh, you will know, right? When you bring new players out for the first time and they get their first kill meal, how excited they are.
Oh, yeah, they
Like, oh,
are.
I did this. Oh, I've never seen that ship before. Oh, I didn't know it can do that. Oh, that was so cool. I think that is something that um, CCP should focus on because that's really important for the lifeblood of this game.
So, what kind of tools or features do you think CCP should put in the game to make it easier for communities to provide content to the players?
I mean, I think the one of the so I don't know if it's a tool or a feature. If we talk about communities, right? It's really hard for somebody, a new bro, to get into in it right now, actually. And we're a PvP alliance in NOSEC. We're one of the biggest. We're not even like a unique, we're big, right? We're PvP orientated. So for a new bro to say, I want to join in it, or I want to join 4S, or I want to join any of the major PvP corps, right? The ESI checks alone are like a month. You got to go through 2 rounds of interviews. You got to go through ESI checks, stuff like that, right? And actually, this is where a lot of the really interesting, really interesting fun fights take place, right? New bros can still join through, like, for example, Initiative. We have our New Bro Alliance called Knock Knock. They can join from there. But the thing is, not that many people like, you need a group to really hold your hand at the beginning because it's so confusing and there's so many different mechanics to it. So if I was to add a feature, I would actually, I don't even know what it would entail, but it would definitely be something to do with getting new players approved and into experienced corps faster without like the tons of ESI checks, without the like just making the whole situation easy. Because even new pros, if you ask them today, they have trouble going online to Reddit searching for what are the best corps to join. They look on Zkill or they ask their friends, but sometimes their friends might not know as well. So it's like a discovery process. So maybe some way to find out which corps are recruiting better, or make the UI for the current what do you
Court
call it?
finder, court finder.
The corp finder more friendly in a way that, because right now people don't use it, right?
No, not at
Um,
all.
yeah. So yeah, maybe that.
Do you think that toxicity is keeping players from undocking? Just players in general?
I think if I I think if the environment is very toxic, nobody want to play the game. So yes, it keeps players from undocking, but sometimes it does motivate players, especially in PvP, to undock more. I don't know if you can, like during wars and stuff, right? the more because you always paint the other guy as the bad guy, right?
Right.
So the more top, and you will always have, I mean, it's a null-sec alliance versus another null-sec alliance. There will always be one or two people who use words which are a little bit, you know, not that great, not that friendly, right? So sometimes it does motivate people to undock, but in general, I think it's toxicity doesn't really help. Retention doesn't really help getting people undocked. And good thing in this game, it's not that toxic actually. In general, most of the people I meet that do PvP, even the super serious ones, they are all really friendly actually. So yeah,
What kind of content do you think keeps players logging in time after time?
for me, I think it's PvP. I think one day when I mean, PvE is relaxing. Don't get me wrong, and I love to do it once in a while. And a lot of my court mates and alliance mates, people I know, they love to PvE to just relax. But the one thing that keeps people logging in I mean, for fun. We talk about fun. It's PvP, or either that a sense of purpose, like, hey, we're building an alliance. We're gonna take this space. We're gonna do this. I think that keeps people logging in the community in a way. Your friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, we touched on solo players a little bit earlier.
Yes.
How would you encourage, or should you encourage, solo players to get into group activities?
Definitely, they have to join. So I always tell, let's say for null cycle for PvP, I always tell them, don't do it alone. If you're new, don't do it alone. Try to join a group first and do it together with a group. And if you find that group doesn't gel with you, find another group. That's actually the best way to play the game at the start, because doing it solo just takes up so much time. Unless you're playing, you know what I mean, like you're playing for more relaxed purposes.
Hmm.
I'm doing level 4 missions to relax. Sure, no problem. I'm mining because it's relaxing, no problem, right? But you're missing out like a whole other chunk of the game because it's a sandbox game, right? So yeah, playing with a community is one of the best. Is one of the best advice I think we can give solo players.
Do you
Trying to push
think
them towards a group. Yeah.
do you think CCP should put more solo content in the game for especially for the people that may only have like a half hour, an hour, don't have time to sync up with friends or fleet?
I think they already have abyssals, and there's already a lot of stuff that you can do in that half an hour, in your area of space, sort of. Like now, say you can undock and mine, you can haven rat in a way.
Hmm.
So, if we were a very popular science fiction game today, I would say yes, add more stuff. Like Gustav Manfred was asking about Abyssal Proving Grounds. I really enjoyed it when they were on, actually. But I also know that we're not really we're maintaining at best, I would imagine. I don't have the numbers, but I imagine we're maintaining at best. And we're not like, 100,000 concurrent players, sort of.
Hmm.
So I don't want to take anything away from what it is already, if it's already like 50 games in one, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So adding a few more things which is like compartmentalized away from the community is not my first choice. But you know,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you had a magic wand and could force CCP to make one quality of life change, what would it be?
So the one thing I keep telling other people, one of the main reasons I'm running is I actually want the game to be faster. So I will tell CCP double warp speed. Because if you so you know human activity, right? If things move around faster, more things get done. Right? It's holds the same. It's true in the real world, and it's true in an online game as well. If you make travel faster, you're going to give the miner more time to move back and forth from the station and from the rocks. You're going to give the logistic guy more trips. You're going to give the hunting crew more systems they can hunt. You're going to give the defense crew more places they can defend. You're just immediately by doubling warp speed, activity across the board, PvE, PvP, logistics, everything just increases, which sort of makes the game feel more alive in a way, and it also helps a lot of the now members that I know. They don't have a lot of time to play now these days.
Mm-hmm.
So, with family and work commitments. So this inadvertently helps them as well. And it also helps the 20-year-old Gen Zers who feel the game is really slow. They don't have that much time. Um, so it indirectly helps them because, yeah, it helps us old guys. It helps them, right? And the complexity of the game, the steps that you need to do to get certain things done doesn't change
Okay.
because we're just increasing warp speed. So yeah, if I had to ask for one thing, I would ask them to double warp speed.
So we're going to bounce back to toxicity a little bit.
Yes.
This summer, and I believe Innit was actually part of it, there was a campaign down in Providence.
Yes.
Yes. And the entire EVE community, the greater EVE community, actually came together against Absolute Order, saying that, enough is enough because of
Yep.
their toxic behavior.
Yep.
And we're not going to get into that because we all know what we're talking about. So, do you think the concept of coming together to basically evict a very toxic group was a good thing for Eve? Was it a bad thing? Was it just content? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it was just one of I think it's that's what makes Eve Eve. You know what I mean? Like basically you today these groups can band together to get rid of a toxic community, right? And tomorrow they can break up and they can fight against each other. But on that note, I would say because we had spies in AO, like a couple of guys in my corp, we
Mm-hmm.
have spies everywhere. So we were spies in AO, and we saw the chats,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like it was probably something dumb that they did. They're not, not I wouldn't say the word, but they're not
Yeah.
really those people. It was just role playing, and it was really dumb because it's not sensitive, right? So it
Right.
was really dumb. So I don't think it was more okay since they're doing that. Let's go evict them. Most of the line members were actually quite normal. Yeah, it's normal. Just but I've seen this play out a couple of times before already. So yeah, they'll get together, they'll evict. Hopefully, AO would sort of wake up a little bit and not be so juvenile, and they'll be back because that's what Eve is, right? You come back, so they'll bounce back eventually, and it's great content for everybody. So yeah,
So it turns out that we do have a candidate in CSM20 that hails from Absolute Order, just like we had last year. Uh, do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, when I was looking at the chats, their internal chats, they seem like, you know, Eve Eve alliances always like to demonize each other. Like for example, oh, I don't like Horde. I hate Horde. Right? Horde hates Brave. Brave hates Frat. Frat hates. Not too sure who Frat hates. Frat's usually quite neutral, but Frat fights everybody in a way. But so everybody always demonizes everybody in a
Mm-hmm.
way. But at the end of the day, we all play Eve. And the player in Horde today, tomorrow might be in Goons. Actually, a lot of them are going to shift to Goons if Goons keeps pushing in. So, it doesn't really matter what alliance you're from. You're all Eve players at the end of the day. I don't think a member from AO represents the juvenile actions of the leader in a
Okay.
way. So yeah, if he has good ideas, he's a cool, chill person. Why not? And we all play Eve. Yeah.
Excellent. Now we're going to switch to some very fun questions. They are CSM specific. We're going to pretend, in many cases, that you actually made it to the CSM. So, congratulations. But the first question is, if you make it onto the CSM, what other candidates or candidate types do you think that you'll want to work with?
So I I only know I always say I'm not going to talk about things I don't know. So for example, high sec. I haven't lived in high sec for years, so I really don't know the issues there. right? But I play in nullsec every day, so I'm very clear of the issues here, and like multiple activities with multiple groups, flying multiple ship types. So I'm very clear. What I would love to, I'm actually interested in wormholes because I started hunting out of wormhole space. Our corp has a couple of C5s and a couple of C2s, so we started, um, hanging around. And to get content, you hunt from a
Mm-hmm.
wormhole. It's easy. It's quite fun actually. It's a different dynamic. So I'd love to work with Mick. Mick Fight Master.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Because I don't think small groups. I'm talking about 50 people can survive in now actually, unless solve drastically changes in their favor, which I suspect it's a very difficult task to handle. But I do think they will find good living in wormholes. So the only thing is nobody wants to live in wormholes because it's so tedious, right? So I'd love to work with him to sort of get more people into the wormhole space. I think it's a very viable area for smaller corps.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, especially since I'm CEO of Warm Life. Definitely don't disagree. What so CSM, we go and we get ideas from players, or we see problems out there and we take it to CCP.
A
How
few
do you
moments
think
later.
that you're going to show CCP that you have support for these issues that you bring to them?
So if there was any issue that we needed clarification on or they needed feedback on, I will actually form focus groups within the area that I know. And we'll go out and test, or we'll go out and give on the ground feedback. Because I don't get feedback I know the CEOs, but most of the time I know the people who are actually fighting. So whether or not we're friends or enemies, on the ground we agree on a lot of things. Like for example, the skyhook changes. Okay, there were skyhooks in Nullsec, and they actually made it so that it's more difficult to rob.
Mm-hmm.
That was a near universal feedback on, hey, that this change was not good, right? For example, there's another thing where, in Nullsec they talk about projection, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
mainly the antiplexis. In lowsec, the problem is actually the sinos. Nobody likes to have a latch just decloak and light a sino on you, and then 50 ships show up and just. It's not fun. And there's no counterplay to it in a way. The only counterplay is don't be on a grid that a latch can light a sino on you, right? Which is not very interesting as well. So yeah, if there was a specific issue about null or about PvP, I would be able to see feedback from the people who actually do this content every day, the different corps as well, not just from init.
Okay. What do you think that you can do that no other candidate this year can?
Oh, okay, I won't say that you can't or other candidates can't. I would just say that if you're talking about now and you're talking about general PvP, small gang PvP or group content for small groups, I don't think anybody would probably do it better than me.
Okay.
That's my confidence speaking. Maybe there is, but that's my confidence speaking. I don't think anybody will do it better than me. And the reason is because my corp, my alliance, the people that we fight with Tuskers, we fight with Gorin, we fight with the best in the game, you know? And we all love PvP. There's one thing about this, we are all super serious about PvP, and we've been doing it for years. So any change which is good or bad for the line members or good or bad for content, we can feel it quite quickly, or I can feel it quite quickly. Compared to people who spend their time doing other things, in this respect, I feel I'll be the best candidate.
So now you got elected onto CSM and you're in your first meeting for the year. CCP is now revealing to you exactly what they're working on for the next year, the expansions and, where they're going forward. And you find out that their whole focus for the year is going to be high sec. It's going to be, home fronts and level 4 missions and all this stuff. Nothing that you really do as part of your current gameplay. What do you think you'll do as a CSM candidate?
Oh no, yeah,
Or
that'll be
CSM?
really depressing. That's very depressing when that happens. Um, I'll probably try to find an adjacent topic that I can work on because no point you if I get nominated on the CSM, I wouldn't want to not contribute. You know what I mean? So okay, maybe there's something that's adjacent, like maybe they're doing something with new bros, which I have a lot of experience in, years of experience. So I'll be okay. Maybe I'll work on that. You know, and yeah, I would definitely try to work with the other CSM members to sort of shore up on the knowledge. Like for example, one thing really interesting. Sorry, I'm branching off a little
No,
bit
that's
here.
fine.
One thing super interesting. You know, new bros and now they're not new bros actually to the game. They spend 2 3 months first in high sec before they come to now.
Yep.
Usually, so they usually never like jump. Sometimes they spend 1 year or 6 months in high sec first before they say, okay, I want to do more PvP, I want to jump to nullsec. So maybe understanding a little bit more about that area is also something that is useful when giving advice on, okay, we think this will be great for new bros, you know?
So
But yeah,
now you're in a meeting and you find out that CCP has decided to totally screw with small gang PvP. They are going to either update ships so it just makes it harder, or maybe they just completely change the meta, and people find out about this. So it's been announced. The public is angry. They expect you to do something about this. How do you think you're going to handle this with CCP?
I think first off, I understand that I'm a player in the game. Right? I'm a player in the game. And this game is actually CCP is the developer. They get to decide how it's going to go. They have final say. I'm just here to give feedback, and I'm going to try my best to give the best feedback that I can, right? But if they don't take it, then there's nothing. I mean, there, I will I will explain it to obviously my court mates and my alliance and the people I play with and go, oh my god, these changes are not well thought out. I already gave them my best shot. But I don't think, I mean, hopefully CCP is more open to community feedback because they have, I know people who have been PvPing for 10 years already in this game every day, 3 hours every day. They could earn 3 PhDs and speak 4 languages by now if they did something else, right? But this is all they do. So when they say, hey, if CCP made meta changes, I think the community will love it. If they change ships, even if it was bad changes, we will love it. You know, the only thing that most of the PvP community doesn't like is when they kill content. So when the content gets harder to find, or when there's less fights happening, because what people usually do, they'll go play other games.
Yep.
And we want to play Eve because we love Eve. We love the universe, right? So I think CCP so far has been quite on the ball. When they see something lowers activity, they tend to reverse, or they tend to like sort of have eyes to fix it. So yeah, even though they might not listen to me at the beginning, I'll still be there. I'll still try my best. And maybe 2 months later, they'll go, hey, maybe we made a mistake here. Can you help us out? Or what's your feedback on this? And then there we go. Off to the races.
Now, you touched on it several times already in this interview, projection. So I
Yes. Oh
I
my
know
God.
I
Okay.
know in CSM18 we dealt with it to the point where we even got an entire meeting about it during Summit. In CSM17, I know they dealt with it, and undoubtedly, CSM 16, 15, 14 probably dealt with it a bit. For CSM20, do you think that it's going to be a topic that the CSM have to keep working on, or do you think the changes that CCP made this year are good enough?
Okay. So this is a very touchy topic. It's an extremely touchy topic, and I have my own views on it. and it's not a popular. I know it's not a popular opinion, right? This is someone who does. I do big fleets. I do small fleets. I do every like pretty much. As whatever content I can grab, I do. Right? I don't think like right now practically. Let's look at what the Equinox did. Right, they reduced the number of ANSIs in NOSAC, but you know what the alliances did? They shifted the ANSIs that are more region to region. You know what I mean? So that it's like you can go from one end of the region to the other end of the region. Maybe they add an ANSI in between, right? So did it really fix projection? It added a few jumps. That's it. I don't fully agree on the projection issue because I don't think it's a matter of okay. Let's say for example, let's say for example, you have 200 people living in Nullsec, right? Just humor me. You have 200 people living in Nullsec, and I attack your low sec structure 2 regions away. With you have 200 people, I have 30 people, right? Your 200 people are all nerds because they play Eve. My 30 people are also all nerds because we play Eve, right? In Null, right? We like to PvP. There's whether or not you get there 5 minutes later, you're still gonna get there. You're still gonna show up for the timers, right? So it's not really a projection issue. It's a big small communities cannot survive if there's a big community nearby and the rules are fair, right? So I feel projection is not really a projection issue. Nothing has changed. I still think moving around quickly in space is very important for content. Drifters, when Zarzak was open, we used to get 3 or 4 fun fleets coming into Fountain from Fred, from PH, just for fights. Very fun. People look forward to it. Then they say, okay, we're closing it. It's too powerful. No problem. I can understand. But now the fun fleets come through drifters, which takes them another extra 1 hour to come through. So the FC was telling me, yeah, we love these fun fleets, but now we have to go through the drifters. It takes an extra hour. It's, no, people don't have that much time anymore to do it. So it's a balance. I feel a lot of the projection issues that were brought up were actually N+1 issues, not like how did this group get here so fast? It's 2 regions away. They're gonna get here fast. They're gonna get there regardless whether you add more NCs or more, unless you put mass limiters on gates, which is not gonna happen. Right? So it's really a N+1 issue. That's why I feel making travel faster just increases content across the board, right? And then you let things sort out. If you have 200 people and I have 30, and I want to take down your structures in low sec, I need to play the game. I need to get allies, and we take it down together. I need to trap you in a bad position, and not complain that you can arrive 15 minutes or 20 minutes later as I start bashing your structure. You know. So that's my thoughts on projection. Sort of.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So with that, we have come to the end. Well, almost the end. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that you didn't get a chance to talk about?
Okay. So I feel it's super important to give one of the when I was working with a lot of new bros I come to know, right? A lot of them ended up swiping their credit cards, and the ones that did slowly faded away. Right? And I get the same complaints from the 20-year-old guys, the Gen Zers, who play Eve today that I know from Init. Right? They're trying PvP out for the first time. Usually they're younger. So the ones that want to try new things, usually they're younger, and they run the same complaints. The skill point system is quite oppressive. It takes 30 days to train. I mean, without buying skill injectors, it takes 30 days to get T2 drones. Right? It takes for like a couple of months to get level 4 skills into a hack, or even level 4 skills into a normal faction cruiser, which is something us veterans we take for granted because we can fly everything. We have alts, right? But new bros coming in, they're not sure that they want to spend so much money. And if you tell somebody, sorry, please use Hammerhead once, or use faction. I mean, faction. People always say, "Why do you get them to use faction drones?" Right? They can, but I mean, come on, just T2 drones are not a big. It's not a big difference, right? Or gate T2 modules behind level 4 skills instead of level 5 skills. I had to give them a big chunk of skill points so they don't have to. The worst one was I had this. I remember this guy, and he was training, and I'm like, "What? You can't fly a Vexer yet? How can you not fly a Vexer? You've been here for 2 months, right?" And he told me, "Well, I'm training my Magic 14 skills first." And I was like, "Why didn't you tell me you're training your Magic 14? I would have told you to not do that. You don't have to train them up first, right?" But because he felt that he needed it, because the advice on the forums was, you need to have your Magic 14. It's good. It's a good practice to get your Magic 14 first, you know. And stuff like this is just not. It might have been necessary 5 years ago, but 2025, I don't think it's necessary anymore. It just stops people from getting to the meat and potatoes of the game, which is playing with friends, playing with community. Yeah. So if there was one thing I would love to touch upon is giving a huge chunk of skill points, more skill points to new players. You can get it over missions. You can get it over 2 months, 3 months of like additional stuff. So people making outs don't get it, but yeah, give it to them, or change the way the skills, like update the skills a little bit.
Do you think maybe a better idea, instead of giving them more skills so they can get into, say, like a hack or a battle cruiser faster, would be to find that bridge to get them into faction warfare, where frigates are often, the meta out there, which are very easy for anyone to get into. I mean, I've been flying faction warfare for the last couple months, and I'm flying my 3 mil Griffin and loving it.
I think, I mean, that's always an existing option already, right? But most of the big, like, we live next to Villera. I don't know if you know, it's a Galente. I think it's Galente
Yeah.
for it's Galente versus someone else. I can't remember. We go there for fights, so it doesn't matter who we shoot. We shoot at everybody, right? But when you see like what they use for combat there, yes, you can use frigates, but the cruisers are very fun. The battle cruisers are very fun. And if you've been playing the game for 1 year already, imagine you play the game every day for 1 year. How could I not let you get into a battle cruiser if you want to? Could I not let you get into a battleship if you want to? You know?
Well,
And
I mean,
yeah,
after a year, battleship, battle cruiser, you should be in one if you want to. But in the first like 3 to 6 months, learn how to fly smaller stuff first before getting into the big stuff.
oh yeah, for sure. I always recommend new bros fly E-War frigates first, right? Because you get to learn about rather than tackle frigates, because tackle frigates just get vaporized when you get close, right? So yes, frigates, Desi down, I think is good as well, right? But the kids today, like the 20-year-olds today, they watch all the YouTube videos. They watch like they want to get into ships quicker, right? And I think we should sort of facilitate that as in it doesn't hurt. If they go in and they don't know how to fly, they lose it. It's more content for everybody, right?
What what would you think about the idea, instead of giving more skill points, only making them to skill into each ship type once? So instead of having to do frigate 4 times for the 4 factions, once you get frigate 5, you just get access to all the frigates
That
that are out there.
that is a super good idea because Cruiser 5 takes so long. Frigate 5 is not that bad. Right? Cruiser 5 takes so long. It's 1 month, almost a month for each of the races, right? And it's very fun flying different ships. So that's a super good idea. I love that idea.
Okay, so we're unfortunately getting to the very end, so we're going to do the final thought. Why should players vote for you, and why should my communities put you on our ballot?
I think, I mean, I want to help new pros. It's something I really enjoy doing. I like it when the joy that they get when they PvP and get their kill meals for the first time. I can really feel the energy. I love it. Right? But actually, I mean, bringing new blood is very important. The next generation of players is very important. So in that sense, I'm sort of aligned with what you're currently doing. I love what you're doing with the new bros, right? But I also want to make the game faster for people with limited time. Actually, if I had to pick two, I would pick this one. The making the game faster for people with limited time. Because I'm sort of seeing my friends and the people I play with and the communities that I'm together with, they have less and less, unless they're retired. You know, some of them are
Yep.
retired, they have more time, right? But I could really see, like, one of my friends, he had just got two kids, right? I've been PvPing with him for years. I'm gonna lose him because you got to. I mean, not lose him, but he will only have 1 to 2 hours to play every day. And obviously, taking care of the kids is more important. Being a family man is more important. You can come back to Eve later, right? But if you just make the game a little bit less tedious for everybody else, not only will you retain these guys, but you will also attract the 20-year-olds who quit because they go, my God, it's like I shouldn't need to spend 4 hours. Do you, okay, sorry, do you know filamenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know filamenting.
Yep.
Right now, if I solo filament, it could take me up to an hour to get a fight. If I solo filament with a group, right, because it'll be empty system, 15 minutes, the weapons timer, sorry, not weapons, the timer, and basically, it's just slow, and there's no need for it to be this slow, right? Right? If a small group filaments faster and manages to find content and create content for, let's say, a null alliance, create excitement for the miners, uh, so that the defense fleet can come, it's positive for the game. So while I love helping out new bros, I will also really love to work on this time issue, this tedium issue.
All right. So,
Yeah.
how can people find you if they like what they hear or they have questions and comments that they would like to make? How can they get a hold of you?
They can join my Corp Discord. It's in my campaign thread on the official forums.
Okay.
I think I have a Reddit thread as well. If you Google Val Auroris, you'll see me there.
Okay.
Basically, they can join my Corp Discord, Aurora. We have a lot of people from different corps there. So we usually just chit chat about PvP. We like chit chat about gossip. We like to gossip. Now, Psychers love to gossip. That's why we have spies everywhere. So you can come in, you can listen to the gossip. And basically, you can also drop me an email, right?
Awesome.
And yeah, that's it.
Well, we'll get all that information down in the description when the video goes up. And I'd like to thank you for coming out. It was really great talking to you and hearing about your campaign.
No, thank you very much for doing this, especially for all the candidates. This is amazing, and thank you very much.
You're very welcome.